Well, welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law. In case you can't tell, I've got a little bit of congestion going on. No, I do not have the Rona. I may or may not have thrown something at the TV last night during the elections, or the election coverage. Look, I'm not going to say much about it. Your choice is your choice. Hey, good. I'm sure you made a knowing, intelligent vote, and that is why we have our system. And it is very important that you have the opportunity to vote for whomever you feel will best represent you. So, God bless your choice on that. And hopefully the lawyers will sort out the presidential politics soon enough. What we do need to address, however, is way to go, Oregon. Wow. So Oregon decriminalized hard drugs like heroin, methamphetamine, and magic mushrooms. What that means is not that they're legal. I mean, don't run up and open a heroin store in Oregon. You're going to go to prison. But users who are caught with user level amounts will be subject to a fine and treatment. Now, this is a summary of a news story, which I'm sure is a summary, and I'm not going to pretend I haven't looked up the law yet. But it sounds like a very good thing. Treatment is a far better option than throwing somebody in jail or throwing them in prison. However, I will also add that treatment is pointless if the person doesn't want to stop using the substance. We can force people into treatment. All they're doing is going and punching a ticket. Seen it a lot of times. If anything, what you do is you send a user to treatment and they make better connections. They get better stuff. They might find better prices. Treatment is more like in a high school AP class on drugs. Sometimes you send somebody to treatment and they will change to a harder or more addictive substance. So treatment is not necessarily the end all and be all in a situation. So before we get too hung up on that, I mean, that's something that has to be looked at rationally and realistically. So Oregon's, I can't wait to see how it works out. I think if it works out like it did in European countries that have taken that approach, I think that'll be a good thing. If it results in the meth heads and heroin addicts from California coming up and hanging out in Oregon, that's not going to be a good thing. Not for Oregon. So, we'll have to see how it shakes out. But that is one of the pieces of good news and good results from the election. One other interesting point that I think is a solid one is, we had a much higher turnout in this election than we've had in many years. And that's a good thing. Our legal system requires it. Our laws require it. Our governance requires it. So, good on you for getting out there and voting. And, several states passed medical marijuana bills for the first time. Again, that's also a good thing, that there's that treatment option for people. So God willing, it'll keep going. What the future for Missouri is going to be, well, Missouri's going to have a rough line ahead of it. Governor Parson has made it abundantly clear that he will spend every penny of the veterans' money fighting lawsuits that were created by the state's either corruption or ineptness in managing the medical marijuana licensing process. So that's going to be a problem. I mean, it's on one hand good for lawyers. Lawyers are going to make a lot of money on this, either representing people that are appealing licenses or the lawyers that are representing the state. You know, there's a lot of people that are going to make a lot of money. Unfortunately, it's going to hurt the cannabis consumers, and it's going to hurt the veterans. It's taking money away from them. So that's a problem. I wouldn't mind seeing a nice little tidy bit of legislation come through that just says that all the money paid for these lawsuits and ultimate fees, legal fees, and any settlement costs come out of the governor's budget. That'd be nice. It'll never happen, but it'd be nice. There is a push towards legalization in Missouri. If this election tells you anything, it tells you that people will act on a ballot measure and then they will become complacent. 2 years ago, Clean Missouri took away the political apportionment of voter districts, and last night we replaced it and went back to political gerrymandering. So, you know, it's people will vote for a ballot issue if they perceive that there's a problem. Unfortunately, in Missouri, they will not necessarily vote intelligently. Anyway, that's it. Kudos to Oregon. Kudos to the other states of that legalized medical marijuana. Missouri, you voted overwhelmingly to retain Governor Parson and to not put Nicole Galloway into the governor's seat. I'm a libertarian. I'm not a party hack for either side. So I don't really have a dog in that fight for the party purposes. I will say that neither one of them are a really great choice for libertarians. But for medical marijuana and that one issue, Nicole Galloway was a much better choice than Governor Parson for that one issue. Now, there's a lot of other issues, and some are probably going to be more important to you. Clearly, you told us that those other issues are more important to you. But maybe the cannabis consumers across the state of Missouri, the 60,000 strong of you, or 75,000 of you that have patient ID cards, need to come together and form a PAC and a lobbying group of your own so that, you know, you can come together and buy yourself some access to the governor's office. You know, it wouldn't take a lot. I mean, look, you're spending $100 a year on your card. Why don't you dedicate another $100 a year to supporting a political action committee that will work on your behalf instead of one that will work against you? If you were to do that, the 75,000 of you would have $7.5 million a year going into your account, going into the PAC's account to drive that and actually produce something. Then you can hire a lobbyist. You can send them down to Jeff City and work it. You can donate money to the campaigns that can help you. Or you can take $2 million and go out and pass a ballot measure that's going to fix our marijuana issues in the state of Missouri. You know, that's what I would recommend. But it's going to take getting that set up. Hell, maybe we will. Drop a note in the comments. If you're still watching this video at the 10-minute line, drop a note in the comments and say, hey, set that fucking pack up. And we'll see about doing that. We'll see about a membership organization and a political action committee that would ideally work with other cannabis organizations and political action committees to bring us legalization in the state of Missouri. Now, if you can send a lobbyist in to meet with people in Jeff City that can point to 70,000 backers, that's going to make a big difference. That's one hell of a lobby power. So, yeah. Drop a note in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and say, start that shit up, Pat. I'll be talking to you later. I have to go to work.